Hey everybody, what is good? Mr. Perkins coming here to you. We are on Unit 3, Lesson 1, Exploration 2. So we introduced photosynthesis in Exploration 1. We're going to continue with photosynthesis. And what we're going to be talking about is where does the actual energy come from? Where does it go? Where is it stored? We're going to see that it travels in bonds, what bonds, and just how does it work. So two big energy molecules that you have to know are ATP and NADPH. Anytime you see ATP and anytime you see NADPH, those molecules contain energy. And in our textbook, you're going to see that the ATP is lit up here like a bomb, and you're going to see NADPH is boxed. These right here are energy carrying molecules. They are jam packed, full of energy. And this is what plant cells are going to use. This is what human cells are going to use and create from glucose. And so, anytime you see these two types of molecules full of energy, as we scroll down, we're going to talk about the stages of photosynthesis, and there are two. We're going to talk about what we call the light dependent process, and we're going to talk about what we call the light independent process. And as you can tell, right, this one right here is going to be the light dependent, and the reason is because it takes in sunlight energy. So this reaction right here is going to be centered around taking in this light energy and absorbing it. This process over here is going to be what we call the light independent process, and that's because sunlight is not taken in over here. This is going to be, it's going to gain the molecules made from the light dependent process, and it's going to bring them over here, and this is where we're going to crank out sugar. So this one's going to take in sunlight, it's going to take in water, H2O, and it's going to create O2 as a waste, and that's at the chloroplast. Now over here, these molecules are going to be made, and we are going to bring in carbon dioxide, CO2, and we are going to produce sugar. So photosynthesis in the chloroplast is going to produce oxygen and sugar, and we are going to take in light energy, water, and carbon dioxide. And as you know, that's what plants need to survive: light energy, water, and carbon dioxide. And we know that plants are going to produce oxygen and sugar. We as humans are going to breathe in the oxygen and stay alive. We also are going to eat the sugar as an energy source. So it's very important that plants produce these two things, but they're also trying to keep themselves alive. They're not just going through photosynthesis for heterotrophs, organisms to eat. Okay, so the light dependent process first. This guy right here, we're going to go up here. This is what we're going to be talking about right now. And we know that we're going to bring in sunlight energy and we're going to bring in water. But what's going to happen is as these two things come in, we're going to use NADP plus, which is no energy. We're going to pick up some parts of molecules and we are going to make NADPH, and that is going to have energy. So this sunlight energy is going to go from NADP plus, it's going to make it NADPH, and this is going to have that energy. Also, this sunlight energy, we're going to have ADP, and it's going to pick up that energy and become ATP, and now it's carrying that energy. So the energy from the sun is moving directly to ATP and NADPH. Okay, and so here's the process. Now, I'm not going to hold you accountable this year for understanding every single step of the electron transport chain, which is what we call the light dependent process. But what you can see here is that right here, we are going to have water. And water, we know plants need to survive. And the reason is because it is going to be broken apart. And when it gets broken apart into hydrogen ions and oxygen, the hydrogen ions are going to come up here, and then they're going to come through this ATP synthase, but they're going to come through this protein. And what's going to happen is ADP is going to turn into ATP right here. So for every water molecule that comes in here, we're going to be able to create some ATP. Also, as this electron travels through, okay, these NADP is going to pick up that electron and is going to make NADP plus turn into NADPH. So I'm not going to necessarily hold you accountable to understand how this entire process works, but what you need to understand is the light energy is going to excite this electron to move down this chain or through these proteins. And so this energy is going to be captured by NADPH, and this energy is going to be captured by ATP. And the important part is as I scroll up, this process right here is going to make ATP and NADPH, And these are going to bring the energy right over here to the light independent process. So what I want you to think of is NADP plus and NADPH is like a taxi cab. This cab is empty, no energy, no people. It's going to pick up people, pick up energy. It's going to have it. It's going to bring it over here and drop it off. Think about an Uber, right? An Uber is going to pick people up and it's going to take them over here and drop them off. Pick them up, drop them off. Pick up energy, drop off energy. ADP and ATP are the exact same thing. Their ADP is going to pick up energy. It's going to come over here. ATP is going to drop it off. ADP. So this is a cycle. So think about an Uber and picking up energy and just dropping it off. That's all these two molecules are doing. So now let's go to the light independent process. So as we go to the light independent process, you're going to see that it's going to be a cycle. And here it is right here. We're going to call it the Calvin cycle, right? But also it is the light independent process. And what you're going to notice here is that we're going to have carbon dioxide come in, right? We know that at the beginning in this chart, we said that carbon dioxide comes in to this cycle. And what's going to happen is every time carbon dioxide comes in this cycle, it's going to go around, and every time it goes around, it's going to kick out of sugar. It's going to go around and kick out of sugar. Go around, kick out of sugar. Going around, kick out of sugar. And every time it kicks out sugar, that's the energy from the sunlight. So as you can see right here, ATP is going to drop off the energy. NADPH is going to drop off the energy. And what that means is this molecule is now going to get split into two of these, which I'm not going to hold you accountable for. But what I need you to know is that the energy from these molecules are trapped in this molecule. Then this molecule is going to come over here and it's going to get cranked out, and this is glucose, right? Glucose is right over here. It's going to come around. It's going to pick up more energy. That energy is going to go into this molecule. Then it's going to pick up a carbon dioxide. It's going to pick up some energy, kick out the energy. So what we're doing is every time this ATP comes in, every time this ATP comes in, and every time this NADPH comes in, it's pushing energy into these molecules that are then going to get kicked out. And this is where the energy is. So this energy, this energy, this energy exits the cycle right there. This is glucose right there. So that's why when you eat sugar, when you eat glucose, you break out that massive amount of energy, and that's how we survive. Okay? So you've got the light dependent process and you've got the light independent process. And as we scroll up, just a quick review. This graphic is very informational. I really like this graphic. But what you got here is light energy goes in and water goes in to the light dependent, and it's going to produce oxygen as a waste. But really what happens is this energy comes in, it's going to convert it into these two molecules. This energy goes into these two molecules. These two molecules are going to take it over to here, and it's going to drop off that energy. It's going to drop off that energy. It's going to be combined with carbon dioxide, and we are going to produce sugar. And this right here, this molecule of sugar is where all of this energy goes. This energy comes in, it gets transferred over here, and gets kicked out as sugar. That's what you need to know for photosynthesis, and can't wait to see you guys in class and be able to put this stuff to work.